Hello everybody, and welcome to the 8th in the series of Dialogues Around Death and the Three Principles. My name's Gillian Fox from gillianfox.com, and this series is all about me talking with fellow experienced Three Principles practitioners, trainers, facilitators and coaches to have a conversation with them about a personal loss that they've suffered is not a word I would really use, but that they've experienced within their life, and also about the Three Principles and how that's helped them to see death not as the end, and to talk about their experience around death. So my guest today is Paolo Valteroni. And I hope that I said that right, Paolo. We did practice before we came on air. And Paolo is a registered Three Principles Innate Wellbeing Practitioner within the Three Principles global community. And he's been a coach and speaker for over 4 years now, working with the Three Principles inside out transformative paradigm. And for over 2 years, he's been getting astonishing results in his own life and for the lives of his clients and his students. I have the pleasure of living not too far away from Paolo, so we've actually physically met up at a meeting and got to know one another over a cup of coffee. And so it's really great to have a not too distant neighbour joining me today. And today Paolo is going to be speaking about the death of his father and how the moment that his father passed away had such a profound impact on Paolo's understanding of the oneness of life, and also made him curious about what it means to be alive. So it's my great pleasure to introduce Paolo to our conversation tonight. And I'd like to start, Paolo, by asking you to tell everybody about how you found the Three Principles and you know, what called you when you heard about it and where it went from there.
Thanks, Gillian, and thanks, first of all, to everyone on the call and whoever is listening to it, and thanks for the opportunity. I always like to start anything that I do with a sense of being grateful for the opportunity to be myself and express me in the way that it feels right to me in the moment. So it's a delight to be here. How did I come up with the principles? By pure chance. I wasn't looking for principles. I wasn't looking for anything new. I had been a coach for about 2 years at that stage, and I was keeping a blog at the time, and I was looking for a definition, not being a native English speaker. I was looking for a definition of the word principle. So I looked it up on Google, as pretty much most of us these days will do, rather than consulting a proper dictionary. By chance, one video with Michael Neal popped up, and I had no idea who Michael Neal was and what the principles were. But it had principles, and Michael Neal speaking about principles, and I said, okay, that's curious, that's interesting. I clicked on it, and from that moment I was hooked immediately. And it wasn't so much to me the description of the principles and Michael's ability to describe what they are and what they meant for him, but it was the feeling behind what he was saying. It was the feeling behind the words, beyond the words, and it sort of reconnected me with the part of me that is deep, and onto which I always, on and off, touch on, and then it's a touch and go. Sometimes I feel it, sometimes I don't, but in that moment I felt the connection, and I felt something truth behind words. And then from there my exploration of the principles began, and being deep into the principles. then started teaching, because I found that the best way for me to understand it was to teach. It wasn't much to learn from others, although I've done many courses and many seminars, many subscriptions to newsletters and things like that, and I still do, because it's a never-ending process. I don't think you ever get a full understanding of the principles, but for me what was important to experience them, because in the end life, it's a whole series of experiences, and the principles, were not immune from that. So I needed to experience them, and the best way for me to experience them is to talk about the principles and to talk about my own experiences with them, and direct experiences or indirect experiences, because as we know, the principles are always at play. It's something that we can't escape as a human being. So that's how I came up with the principles, and it's been an interesting journey, pleasurable one.
Yeah, and us speaking about the principles, as we know, is how other people can hear something, and us sharing insights or just talking as we're going to be talking gives other people that access as well, which is what's so beautiful about the principles, because if from nowhere somebody can hear something, can't they?
Yes. Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. That's one of the first things that I learned when I started teaching the principles, that no matter how much I tried, no matter how grounded I was in the principles, sooner or later someone will pick something up from the words that came out of my mouth. And not all the talks and all the teachings that I do, it's of the same quality. Sometimes it comes up very good, and sometimes it feels like I actually had added any value to my audience. And then, surprisingly enough, and without failure, I have discovered that and experienced that every time someone, even after sharing that I labeled that as awful, as totally irrelevant or not useful at all, someone dropped me an email and said, well, look, I got so much out of this, and this whatever you said, and it had an impact on me. So I learned soon enough that I needed to let go of any expectations, and I really don't know how what I say and what I teach impacts people, because I don't know. I have no idea. Any idea that I can make up, I am just making them up. That's it. There's no truth behind those.
And isn't that
I've been proven wrong many times.
And that's a beautiful example of what we're talking about. Thought at work in the moment. Your experience of your talk, your teaching wasn't that great this time, and yet somebody else is saying to you by email, I heard something, thank you so much. So your experience is not their experience, which is just such. I love that as an example, Paolo.
Yeah, and it was a lesson that I feel fortunate enough that I learned at the early stages of teaching.
We're here today to talk about your experience around the death of your father. So I wonder, would you like to talk to us about that?
Absolutely. It's actually, believe it or not, it's one of my favorite topics. And it's actually the opening of the book that I'm writing as well, which is starts effectively with describing what happened the day my father passed away, which it was at this stage 42 years ago, because I'm 46. He died when I was 4. And despite what everybody in my family keep saying that I wasn't there. I have a very vivid recollection of when he passed away, and I was in the room. I wasn't physically in the room. I was on the doorway, between the legs of someone, and I have no idea who that was. But I was 4 years old, so I could fit anywhere, pretty much. And I remember the moment he had his last breath, and then there was a moment of silence. When everyone went silent, and then everybody started to get upset, as you would, because it's a natural reaction. But I couldn't. I just didn't. And not because I didn't want it, not because I was resisting it. It just, to me, I felt this, I don't know if I can call it a voice, but I heard something. And I heard what, for me, it's been through my entire life, throughout my life, on and off. That was, yes, he seems to have gone somewhere, but guys, don't get upset. He's not gone anywhere. He's still here with us. He's still here. I can still hear his voice. I can still talk to him. I still feel his presence. So don't get upset. Talk to him. He's here. He's with us. And that was my experience of my father dying. It wasn't a feeling of disconnect. There wasn't a cutting of any cord with me and him. There wasn't a disconnect. There wasn't any of that. If anything, I felt a much deeper, different quality connection to him. And it's funny because it's something I cherish, and I still feel his presence when I want to, when I need to. Sometimes it's something that I'm actually doing on purpose, looking for that connection. Sometimes it just comes to me and he speaks to me. And, whether some people might dismiss that, and I don't know how to call that, whatever is happening, but I just know there is a connection there, and somehow, somewhere, his energy is still there, because obviously he's not there. It's not him in the same shape and form that he had, of which, funnily enough, I have no recollection of whatsoever. I have no recollection of any memory of my father. I don't remember anything. I don't remember, I have no memories, absolutely no memories. The ones that I think I have is simply because I've seen pictures of him and me interacting somehow. And I think I built an experience around those, but they don't seem true to me. But so physically, he's not here. He's never been here, apart from the first four years of my life. But I have no memories of that. So in my experience, he's never been there, and yet his presence has never been so strong. And his presence and his energy has been one of the strongest in my life, and it's been guiding me through life. It's been supporting me through life, and it's been giving me the gift of knowing and seeing that when there is no death, apart from the physical body, there is no death. That we don't die. It's impossible to die, because it would be, to me, it would be like saying the world dies, the life dies, everything that is in existence dies, and that's not possible. We all know that. Science has been supporting and saying that for ages now, that energy. We are made of energy, and everything else is made of energy. Sound is energy. My words are energy. My thoughts are energy. My body is energy in a different frequency, and that seems solid, but it's all everything is a energy taking form or not form, but it's all energy. And so saying that we die, it would be like energy dies, and we know that science has proven that energy never dies, but only takes different forms. And its intensity never goes up or down. It's always the same, changes the frequency. And you can maybe, I'm saying that wrong, and the scientist out there might just say, this is blasphemy. But it's to me, I don't feel that is the intensity of energy. To me, it's like the frequency that it appears to take shape or not shaping, but the intensity, to me, it's energy is always there, and there's always the same quantity. It's never higher or lower. What's higher or lower is my awareness of it, but that's all it is. So the death of my father was an eye-opener for me. Was what I call a gift, and it was a gift in many ways, not just because it put me in. It kept me in touch with mind. Around the three principles world, we have one of the principles we speak about is mind, and that's the one that I feel strongest about. That's the one that it feels more true to me. And Sid Banks, in the end, he said, yes, I mean, there is all, we speak about mind, thought, and consciousness, but there is only one principle, and that's mind. And that's what is true to me. And I speak about thought, I speak about consciousness, but to me, what's true and what feels more true than anything is mind. And I like to believe that that's because I never disconnected from it fully, or as much as many other people out there. And I feel compassionate about that for them, and I feel for them. And whereas for me, it's been an immense gift, and I'm for me, the death of my father was it was something positive. And I say that lightly, meaning that whatever people think of me saying that, it's their own thinking. It's nothing to do with me. To me, it feels positive, simply because I don't miss him, because it's been there. He's there. He's here. So it's positive, but positive in the sense that, as I said, it's kept me in connection with mind, with that universal energy that is behind life, that is life, and of which I am part of. I'm not disconnected from it, and then having that connection always there, it's been wonderful, because it's been guiding me through life every step of the way, when I was open to listen to it, and open to not knowing that I had an answer to everything, and just being open to being guided from it. Now, that might sound grandiose, and some may sound like I've been enlightened my entire life, and far from it, very far from it. I have been depressed, and I have had my moments. I'm a human being like everyone else. I think I consider myself lucky, simply because deep within I've always known that wisdom was there, mind was there, universal energy was there to support me, no matter what my situations were, what my circumstances were. And I've gone through rough patches in my life, like everyone else. I mean, growing up without a father and three sisters, and handicapped aunt in the house, and a very old grandmother who was actually born in the 19th century. You know, it was an experience, but again, there was a gift, because growing up as a single male with 7 women, to me, it's been a great gift. That's what has helped me having a deeper connection and an easiness of being with women, as a friend, as a partner, and yeah, that's another gift. So, you know, that's what I see. That's what I see from that. And in terms of purely about the principles, and what the experience of my father death was, it's really been that connection, really being that connection to knowing that there is something that it goes beyond me, beyond my thinking, my intellect, my physicality. Knowing that there is something out there that is running the show. That it's not my job to run the show, to run my life to a certain degree. Yes, I have the ability to choose. I have free will, yes, and I do use it. But I always use that with caution, with leaving doors open for life to speak to me from a different level, from a level of wisdom, from a level of grounding into and to this deeper wisdom that is not mine, because it's, you know, everything that comes to me comes really through me. I'm a conduit for life unfolding. It's not me doing my life. It's life doing me, and I enjoy that. That doesn't mean that I'm not taking responsibility for my life. On the contrary, I think the only way for anyone to take full responsibility of their own life is to embrace it. Embrace what life gives you. Just embrace it. My company as a coach that I run, it's called Embrace Life. And that's what I invite people to do through my teaching and coaching, is embrace life. Don't resist it. And you know, I'm not the only one saying these things, and I've heard that many times. You know, what you resist persists, and that's so true to me. That's so true. You know, and I still resist things. Obviously, as I said, I'm human. I'm not enlightened, far from it. And but at the same time, the principles have helped me and are helping me in seeing that I'm resisting when I'm resisting life. It's and my resistance in the way I see in this very moment is still part of my life unfolding. It is part of my experience. So resisting anything that I'm experiencing, it's pointless. It's a massive waste of energy. I just go with it. If I'm feeling not very good, if I'm feeling disconnected, I'm just staying with it. I'm feeling disconnected, so what? It's this experience. Let me enjoy it. Let me live it fully. Is it pleasant? Not really. But you know, hey, oh, that's life. Life is not always present. I accept that. I embrace that. But I know that what the principles are helping me to see that, yes, I'm disconnected, and I don't stay disconnected for long, not as long as I used to. Because as I said, I mean, despite the fact that I saw and had a deeper connection to the energy behind life, the universal energy, mind, God, call it what you like, despite having, an early reminder of that through my dead father, I disconnected, and I lived many hours and many years not seeing it, or not seeing it as much as I see it now. I've been depressed for 3 months. I've been in deep depression for 3 months, looking at a blank wall for 3 months, doing absolutely nothing, and initially resisting it with all my heart, with all my thinking, with all my strength, and with everything that I could use to resist it, until the point where there was no more any point in resisting it. And I just stayed with it. And the moment I really embraced it, it was the moment that it went, or it started to go and to decrease in intensity, and seeming less, and looking to me less and less true, but just an illusion of my head, my mind, because that's where I was living in the moment. In that period of my life, I was very much in my head. I was trying. I thought I had control over it. I thought I had control over things, over my boss, over my wife. I had control over everything, over my circumstances, a certain situation. I was trying hard to change them, and they didn't change because I was trying too hard. The moment I let go of that, and I heard this voice again, and I like to think that was my father's voice. But as I said, I have no recollection of his voice, so how do I know it was his voice? But I like to think it that way. It was wisdom talking to me, and it said, "Paolo, that's enough. That's enough. Get up and go on with your life." And I snapped it out of it in the moment. The moment I heard that, poof! All my thinking, all my depression went away. I was fine. I was fully connected again, and I went on, and things changed. So my circumstances changed for the better, and it went into a totally different direction to the one that I thought and I wanted it to go. But it turned out to be a blessing. So again, the principles in that experience, in my experience with depression, helped me throughout of it to see for what it is. And I don't think well, that implies that I know what's going to happen, but I don't feel at the moment that I'm ever going to fall into depression again. It doesn't seem possible to me. Having said that, my life might surprise me. And if it does happen, I go with it. I'm open to it. I'm really curious about life, and that's the principles that allow me to do that. To stay open, to have very little expectations about anything and anyone, including myself. But just stay open to the moment, and with the certainty, with the absolute no doubt that if I stay open, if I stay curious, something nice is going to happen in my life. Life is going to unfold in a way that is pleasant. Then it's going to create a nice and lovely and enjoyable experience and peaceful experience for me. And I can honestly say that that's the majority of my days. It's an experience that is joyful, that is enjoyable, that is, entertaining. That I don't want it to be any different to what it is, including the days when I wake up and I'm upset, including the days when I wake up and I'm feeling grumpy, and including the days when I don't see the energy behind life. I don't see the connection. I don't feel the connection. I feel totally disconnected to it, including those days, because I know that they're not going to last forever. Everything is transitory, and the death of my father was one of the major teachings that I got from his death. Everyone, I think no one was expecting for him to die at the age of 39 years old. But it happened. So nothing is permanent, and I got a big lesson early in my life that nothing of the impermanence of life, of the of how everything is transitory in life. Nothing stays the same, and that it obviously includes my life, includes my circumstances, it includes the people around me, and death is just a part of the unfolding of life, including my own. And I can honestly say that I'm not scared of dying. And when I speak of death, of my own death, with friends and family, sometimes we just get into conversation. I say, look, yeah, I'm not afraid of death. I'm not afraid of dying. If I was to die today, it's okay, because I don't know when my expiry date is gonna show up. I know that I came into this form, into this life, into this experience with an expiry date. What that expiry date, no one knows. And when it comes, it comes. And I know that I'm not dying. The true me, my essence, my soul, call it what you like, my energy doesn't die. And that's what it feels true to me, and that's what I'm focusing on. I'm staying connected to that energy, that it's ever changing, but never dying. So death, it's an illusion. It's a made up story that it feels real. And on the physical world, yes, it is real. My body is going to decompose. It's going to be burned, or whatever is going to happen to it. I don't mind, and I don't care, because it's not even mine. I'm just borrowing it as a tool for me to experience life in this moment, and in this illusion of time and end of time. But that's all it is. That's what it is. I'm not my body. I take good care of it, because I'm trying my best and to make it last, and to keep it functional to the best of its ability. Because that's another thing. I have a body. I do have a body, and I live in it fully. So I like my body to do the things that it's meant to do. So if I need to run, it needs to be able to run. I like to be able to. That's why I exercise. That's why I go for a run. That's why I do, body weight exercise and keep myself relatively fit when I feel like, when it feels right for me to exercise. So I eat, healthy food, or what I feel is healthy food, and then some days I eat crap food. unhealthy food, and that's okay. I know my body can take it to a certain degree, but I take good care of it, because I believe that, in all of that, I need to take care of the body. Then again, it's another gift in life, and I like it in whatever shape it is. In whatever shape it is, I'm gonna like it. But death, that's going back to death. That's just an illusion, and my body, it's a temporary illusion that feels real, and my life here, it's temporary. I know it's temporary and it's not gonna last. And when again my expiry date is gonna show up, I don't know. And I'm open for it any time, any moment. I have no problem whatsoever. And when I speak this way with friends and people who love me, they seem to get upset and say, "How can you say things like that? How they say, well, look, do you know when I'm gonna die? How are you gonna die? Do you know? Do you never? But most important, do you never feel that there is something more to this life? There is something bigger than my view of life and your view of life? Do you never feel guided by something that it feels that is coming from nowhere?" And inevitably, everyone says yes. I have had those moments, and that's what I point myself to, and that's what I point people to. Look at that. Remind yourself of those. Use those moments where you felt something stronger than, but that you actually felt stronger than you thought you could be. When you felt fully, utterly guided to do something or say something, and use those as your pointers, as your proof that there is something different that can happen, that is something nicer, more powerful than you thought could happen, and you could say you could do, and it does happen, funnily enough, when you least look for it. That's another thing that I have noticed, is if I try to be inspired, if I try to say something important, what I think it's important, it never works. It never works. It's the same when I have had to make decisions like everyone, big decisions in life. Every time I made a decision using my reasoning, using my intellect, using my mind, using what I thought I knew, based on what I thought I knew, all those decisions, all those choices, they never turned out the way I was expecting. And 9 out of 10, they weren't even closer or enjoyable at all. Whereas every time I have let go of everything, of me knowing what the answer was to my decision making process, what was meant for me the decision to be, and just listen to this guiding voice that is always there, that is always available to each one of us, this guiding voice that I always reconnect to, that voice that I heard when my father died, and it said, he's not gone anywhere. There is more to it. There is more than I can see. And then inevitably the answer that I'm looking for comes up. Most of the time it's like when I'm having a shower, when I will go for a walk, and when, well, not necessarily one of those two things, but effectively every time when I stop trying to find the solution and make a decision, when I let go of it, I park the idea of having to make a decision, and then the decision comes. It's when I abandon myself to life, and when I'm not even trying. We hear and talk about, you know, being in the flow of life, being in the moment, uh, which more and more to me they feel like a silly things to say. How can you not be in the moment? You're always in the moment. There is a different level of presence that you might have to the moment, but you're always in the moment. Whether you're present to it or not, that's a different thing, and that's what we might need to keep and look and pay attention to, how much presence I am. But I'm always in the moment. And the same with being in the flow of life. How can you not be in the flow of life if I am part of that bigger energy that is life? How can I not be in it? I am it. I am the flow. I'm not in the flow. I am the flow. I am the energy of life, just expressing itself in the way that is expressing itself in this very moment. But that's all it is, you know. That's all it feels for me. The life is. It's an unfolding of moment by moment, of experience after experience, and the more I stay connected to with life, with everything, with the oneness of life, the more I feel the connection. And what's not to like on that? Who doesn't like to feel connected, not to just to yourself, but to other people, to the people around you, to the activity and the tasks that are in front of you in the moment, even your job, your you know, a conversation that you're having with someone. What's not to like on that? Everything is an experience, and even work is an experience, and it doesn't feel like it's work anymore. I don't label it as work. It's I see everything as an experience. That's effectively what I'm trying to say. It is an experience in the moment, and I'm totally embrace it most of the time. As I said, some days I don't. Some days I like to quit whatever I'm doing. I wouldn't want to be in the situation I'm in. I would like, I don't know, to have more money in my bank account, or I would like to have a bigger house, or I would like to have a different job. Whatever. I would like to be a woman rather than a man. You know, that's all illusion. That's all my thinking. That's all a trick of the mind. But at the same time, it is part of life unfolding. It is part of me having an experience of life, and I embrace it. You know, I'm easy about it. There's an easiness about life, and that it's all connected to, in my experience, to my father passing. It's all connected to that. That's where death really showed its face to me, its real face to me, where death is life, just showing up in a different form. And I call life the energy behind life. For me, when I say life, life is everything. Life is mind and life. It is life for me, and life is everywhere, in death as well. It's just life experiencing itself, if you want, through us, through everything else, through the tree growing in the bushes and in the forest, and through a blade of grass, to my cats, roaming about in the house, everything. My wife, this glass of water and the glass and the water in it. Everything is life. Everything is mind. And it's good to know that we are all part of it. And every time someone dear to me passes into the next phase of their experience, yes, of course, there is an element of loss. There is an element of discomfort, and can't say it's a fully enjoyable and joyful experience, because it's not. Because you physically miss the person. We are made of a body, as we said, that we have a body, we have 5 senses, and we have compassion. So you feel all of that, but it's all life. That's all life unfold. That's part of the experience of life, and I don't see that as negative. I don't put that as a negative label to that experience. If I'm feeling sad, that's me having an experience of sadness. That's all it is. If I label it as sad, then yeah, it's me. I'm making that up. We have obviously the need to describe feelings and give them description, but that's all it is. It's a description. It is as true as a moment of joy. It is intense and important as a moment of happiness, of full connectedness with the oneness of life. Because that's life unfolding. That's life giving you a different experience that we label as sadness. So yes, if every time dear, or even not dear, every time death happens, yes, I have an initial reaction is that of sadness. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it. Actually, there is a beauty to it, because it's part of the many, many infinite possibilities of experience that we can have. And if there is any purpose to life, it's that of you and each one of us experiencing life in the way that we can, and we are experiencing it. There is no right or wrong way of experiencing life or being in life. My only purpose, and everyone's purpose in the way I see it, is just be you and experience life as you are, and embrace yourself as you are, embrace life as you are. Because that's in the moment you're living it fully. That's the moment where you're allowing life to expand through your own purpose. Energy is infinite. Life, the energy behind life is infinite. And through each one of us, it's a conduit, it's a means for life to create that type of experience. So don't resist it. Don't resist at all who you are in the moment. Just be aware of it. Be present to it. Don't try not to, because it sounds like a prescription, and I'm not here to prescribe anyone or to tell anyone how they should live their life, because it's not my I don't think it's my place. I don't even know how I should be living my life. I know that if I'm with life, I'm in life, if I am life to the best of my ability, if I'm aware to it, it's going to be a much more enjoyable experience. And it never amazes me that I always have a new experience. None of my experience, I have experienced death many times in life. My father was just the first. Then the next year, his sister, my aunt, was handicapped and on a wheelchair, passed away. And then the following year, my grandma passed away, his mom passed away, and then other people, then my other grandma passed away, and not long ago, a very dear friend who was only 40 passed away. And you know, that is life. And I fully experienced the sadness when I heard the news, and I fully experienced the response that I had to it, which, you know, if I had to give it a label, it might seem like it wasn't pleasant. But I like to not label it and just seeing for what it is. It's an experience. And I'm here to do that. I'm here to experience life. And I do my best to do that. Some days I don't. Well, not with the level of awareness that I might be in other moments. It's the joy of being human. I love that. I love being human, you know. I love my sad moments and my crappy moments as well. In the same way that I love my joyful moments and my laughing moments and my connecting moments and the moments where I don't see any of this. When I don't even see the connection. I am that connection. I am that oneness. I am that life. I am there. I am life. I'm energy. It's beautiful, and I wish everyone to be able to stay in that connection as long as they can. And it's inevitable. Everyone will have that experience, which is very reassuring to me. It's something to say that, and to know that there's always an opportunity for me to feel that way. The moment I let go of my thinking, the moment I stop grabbing onto whatever is going on in my head in the moment, because that's the only thing that takes us away from being connected. It's our own personal thinking getting in the way all the time. And it does that, and it does it. And I know it will, and I know it will ever do it, as long as I am in this physical form. Whatever is going to happen when I die, I don't know. Maybe I will still be trapped in my own thinking, I don't know. But that's the way it is. And last thing, and then I'll stop talking if I can, is that all of this, to me, points to the simplicity of life. Life is not difficult. It's not. It's much simpler than we think. Is it easy? Not always. No, it's not easy. But it's simple. And the simplicity, to me, rests in the knowing that something different to what it seems real to you in the moment is possible. And not just one thing that is possible, and it could potentially replace whatever is you're experiencing in the moment. But there is an infinite potential and infinite possibilities of things to replace and give you a different experience to the one that you're having in the moment. And it's that simple. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing, no one, and nothing. Nothing lasts forever. And that's the simplicity of life. Because it doesn't last forever, don't be attached to whatever it is. It feels so true and so important to you in the moment, because it's not gonna last. let's be real, it's not going to last. So enjoy fully as long as it lasts, and then be open to receive the next experience. And that's what I do most of the time. I'm curious. What's next? Let's see what's next. This is over. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Well, this person is no longer in my life. Fair enough. To a certain degree, I know it's there. Let's move on. What's next? What's next? And that's what I repeat. I hear. It's not. I don't do it on purpose, obviously, because that would be imply that we need to do something in life. Whereas no, I'm just open to it, to this voice that it says, "What's next?" It's the same when I talk. What's next? I don't know what I'm going to say in 10 minutes. I know that something will come up, and hopefully it's going to be something meaningful, or what to me in the moment it feels meaningful. But yes, curious. Just to stay open and curious to life. Something will show up. Don't get attached to anything. Nothing lasts forever. Big lessons from my father's death. Big lessons. And it's been there my entire life. I knew from that early age that I wasn't here forever. My time here was limited, so I might as well enjoy every single moment of it. So I think that's all I have to say for now.
Paolo, thank you. There was so much richness in there, and it was just lovely to listen and hear behind the words and experience the feeling behind the words. And I'm sure that everybody will have got a huge amount from what you said. So I'd love it if you could tell people where they can get in touch with you.
Sure. Yeah, well, all the usual places you'll find me, mainly Facebook. I'm on there. You can always get in touch with me. You can go onto my website, which is valteroni.com, effectively my surname.com. Go there, and my contact details are there. There is my telephone number. Feel free to text me, call me, email me, whatever feels right for you in the moment to do it. I can't promise you I'll answer every single phone calls in the moment, but if you leave a message and I know that you called, I'll call you back. So the same with emails. Might not respond immediately, but I will. And same with Facebook. So those are the main ways. I'm on Twitter as well, not very active. I have a Twitter account, but I don't normally give it out because I don't go there as often as I feel to go. So thank you. But thank you again, Gillian, for the opportunity, and thanks for everyone who stayed and listened to me. I don't have any expectations of what you heard. I just hope that you listened beyond the words and the feeling that it was behind what I was saying. Because I'm aware that sometimes what I'm saying might not make perfect sense. It might not be perfect logical. But the feeling behind it, that's what it counts. That's what I'm listening to everyone that speaks to me and with me. I listen to the feeling behind what they're saying. So thank you.
Thank you, Paolo. And thank you to everybody that's been watching and listening to us. And I'd just like to say goodbye from Paolo and goodbye from me. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.